Kala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles who taught me this truth. This is your brother Dawad, the real brother beloved, and this is only for the elect.
Meet with the governor, a lot of people, and doing something. I guess some of you are coming along, I assume, is that right? You going?
There's a crew out at Andrews waiting on it.
Okay. So we're signing the 8.3 billion. I asked for 2.5, and I got 8.3, and I'll take it.
Of course you will.
Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
Shalom Yasharallah. There you have it. For those of you who are not in the know, Senior Trump has just signed a $8.3 billion emergency spending package allocated to fighting the widespread of the coronavirus. According to mainstream media, more than $3 billion is set out for vaccine research, development, and therapeutics. $2.2 billion will go to preparedness and prevention efforts, and $1 billion will be used to purchase medical supplies and the support of community health centers. An educated guess would suggest this is a setup for mandated vaccination of the American populace and a blueprint to be followed by neighboring nations and U.S. allies alike. Hopefully you've been keeping your eye on the scoreboard. Just this week, the suggestion was made to destroy paper money and go digital as opposed to credit card spending, as both were a major conduit in the spread of the virus. Now they're preparing to equip themselves being the federal government and health officials on down, with the capability of immunizing what would constitute, by looking at the budget, every willing, living, and breathing American citizen. For those of you following this thing, this is the opportune scenario to roll out enforced RFID microchipping now more than ever. Now, there's a dispute going on between mainstream media and alternative news sources, which I've mentioned on several occasions, regarding whether or not the infection is as widespread as they say, or it's simply the propagating of a willfully inflated health scare in the hopes of fulfilling some other globalist initiative or agenda. To be honest, even though I have my own opinion, Israel, you should caution yourselves to not getting caught up in that discourse where it becomes the main focus. Essentially, it's taking your eyes off the proverbial ball. No better way to describe it than a self-inflicted gunshot wound of distraction. Truthfully, it's what the elite who have devised the implementation of this thing want. Your skepticism makes you more susceptible to allowing them to stick pins and other things in you. This is Proverbs 28:15. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people, such as the elite who subject you to this roar of propaganda. True or false, the tactic is for you to comply through the spread of the unknown. What do people fear? What they don't know, right? This is 1 Peter 5:8, and we're just gonna keep going with the spirit. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So remain circumspect, Israel. Obvious instances like this, especially one after the other, in a consecutive matter, should not pass you by unquestioned or undetermined. I mean, Stevie Wonder with a service dog can see this is an orchestrated attack, courtesy of the men in white, Esau Edom. This is James 4:7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to Yahweh. Resist, not only meaning to withstand, but oppose the devil, the adversary, ours being Esau and Edom, and he will flee from you. Remember, the Lord have been telling you this thing is going to take place. It's going to come down the pipe for years. Submit to the will of the Lord, meaning take heed to the brothers called forward to bring you this truth. And there is no way the so-called white man can deceive you or have his way with you. Before I came into the truth, I had come to New York to record. Leaving the Ville, I was headed to I think I was headed to the Coliseum, and I'm pretty sure the brother was Ephraim, older gentleman, didn't forget English. He was deaf mute, and he handed me a pamphlet that outlined the mark of the beast and the RFID microchip. This was in 1995. I bring this up to say this, that when I finally was introduced to the truth, the 100% truth, I didn't need any convincing, nor did I have to question who was in possession of it, which is why my approach is in pushing it is a little bit more unconventional than others. I know I tend to dig deeper at the little things and feel the need to scratch more than the surface, because I understand firsthand why some may have an excuse, for lack of a better term, in not being able to receive this thing of ours when you first hear it, because of the condition the brother was in who first gave me that flyer, which was clearly a heads up for me moving forward to be a little bit more patient, especially for, brothers who have an unction and not as skilled. And I say that humbly because the Spirit, compelled me, even with my lack of experience, and also because I sat with the understanding so long without a meaningful outlet to share what I knew, especially concerning the mark. But excuse me for being a little less tolerant for what's right in front of your face. This is Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Some sincerely can't see it, true indeed, but I'm convinced willful ignorance is almost as communicable as they allege the virus is, and so is being puffed up in this thing. So I'm gonna help y'all out. Let's go back to the 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter 5 and 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject to one another, and be clothed with humility. For Yahweh resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Believe me, I know it's not easy to concede when you're wrong. I've made a fair share of mistakes while growing in the truth, and there isn't a sincere elder or brother on down who hasn't confessed the same. Yet we press forward. But pride and ego, and that's the death of men. And when pride doesn't kill, shame will. So respectfully, not saying no names, but how much more evidence does a detective need? It's almost laughable. This is why I say they stubborn, not stupid, which in the long run you stupid anyways, because now you just attempted to make a mockery of the truth, but you can't. Now you done fell into my mantra, Even when brothers deny me because, they've made up their mind due to what they think they know about me, or because I'm not as skilled as they are, you could do nothing because the truth stands alone. It stands alone. I'm going to call this one Follow the Money Part 2 because it's obvious, pursuant to Titus 1 and 7, some of y'all gone, sold to the highest bidder. And it's rather clear who really got eyes and ears but still won't follow. So let me explain the microchip and how it plays into this thing again for the hearing impaired, and I'm going to close with some scripture. So NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, founded in 1949 by the United States, NATO being a collective of European nations and America and Canada, brought together to ensure protection from the threat of attack by Russian forces, will be responsible for the whole world receiving the mark of the beast. You can find that in Revelation 13 and 15. And keep in mind that NATO, naughty NATO, and Esau is interchangeable, right? They're relative to each other. The implantable RFID microchip is a wireless, non-contact use of radio frequency electromagnetic fields to transfer data for the purposes of automatically identifying and tracking tags attached to objects. The mark of the beast, now this is Revelation 13, 16, and 17, is a worldwide system that collects and gathers information, banking, monetary, and medical information, and ties it with personal records of all kinds. This chip implanted in your body will personally connect you to that system. It don't get any plainer than that. I mean, very simple to comprehend. I mean, the time is coming. If you don't have the chip, forget buying, spending, being able to go drive or travel, etc. The very question will be your right to medical attention. and there is no better motivator than self-preservation. And that's a fact. Incidentally, the first family ever to be microchipped, their last name was Jacobs. Coincidence? I don't know what that is, but I will say sometimes there's a reward in paying attention to minor details. Now, this is Matthew chapter 13, verse 15, and it reads, "For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them." But here the men of the Lord come, teaching it simple, keeping it real. And y'all act like it's the most complex parable ever told. The mathematical theory of dividing a dead beetle by the square root of a quasar. I mean, it don't make no sense. I don't get it. What are y'all waiting to hear? But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. And this is the elect. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see these things which ye see. The prophets of old wished they could bear witness to the times we're in now, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. And still y'all fumble around like you in the dark. It's right there in front of your face. You don't want to see it, you ain't gonna see it. You know, and I ain't gonna beat a dead horse. I hope you were edified, and even if this was a source of entertainment for you, I hope you actually leave here with something. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Rakakwadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles who rule well and taught me this truth. Yada Hayallah Yahweh. Shalom Yasharallah. Lord willing, on to the next.